All right. Hello, everyone. Let me just make sure that. Oh, let me turn this off. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good to go here. I just wanted to come on and give some reaction to Michigan's 27-17 loss to the Washington Huskies out in Seattle. I don't have a lot to say, so I'm going to try to be brief. Dre Ellerby, thank you for being here. Hey, let me know what you think about what happened. Um, yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Let me make sure that this is going over properly to YouTube. Dre, can you hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me okay. Can you hear me? Do I sound nice and crisp? Can you hear me? I normally check the mic before I get started, but I didn't do that because it's late. But please smash that like button. Can you hear me pretty good? Okay. Uh, you guys know my style. I start with an intro. I'll see you on the other side of the yellow and blue. This one won't take long. Please smash that like button, however long you stay. 51 seconds, the yellow and blue. I'll see you on the other side. Please smash that like button. Everybody who's coming in, let me know what you think there in the chat about what just happened. All right, everyone, welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. I am the content creator on this channel, and I am a proud Michigan alum and a supporter of our Michigan Wolverines, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, Michigan just lost to the Washington Huskies out in Seattle. I forgot to put in my pregame analysis slash discussion that when I was a student at Michigan, a graduate student, my advisor almost moved us out to the University of Washington in Seattle, and I didn't want to go initially, even though it is a beautiful place. It is a beautiful region of the country, and that is a wonderful school, just like the University of Michigan. But you guys don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about what just happened. So I don't have a lot to say. I think Dre Ellerby is saying some of it here in the chat. He says, "Hey, bro." He says, "Jack is not the guy." He says, "I can hear you." And then he says, "I hope people don't get fooled by Jack's 17 points. He's not it." Well, Dre Ellerby, I think that's the question right now. Quoting Coach Prime, if Jack Tuttle's not the quarterback at this point, then who is? Who is the guy? Is the guy on the bench? Is he in the on the roster, or are we going to be seeing this revolving door for the rest of the season? And where we don't know what's going to happen one week to the next. So the game started off pretty ugly. Okay, when I got to Buffalo Wild Wings and I finally turned it on, the offense was just scraping by. I think back in the day we called it 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Orgy wasn't getting much done. He was locking on to receivers, and the Washington defensive linemen, their front seven, they were tipping quite a few of Alex Orgy's balls. Okay, so it's as though he was locking on to one receiver he was looking at that receiver, and they knew what he was going to do before he did it. And the offense just wasn't getting much going in that first quarter, or up until the point when Sharon Moore made the quarterback switch. That's tough. I know it's got to be tough for Alex because it seemed as though he was going to be the guy. Only one person can play the quarterback position. And yeah, and it's not clear right now who that guy is going to be. So he got yanked. And instead of Davis Warren, Jack Tuttle got put in. There have been a lot of shout out to Johnny Olden. The Jack Tuttle guys have been calling for Jack Tuttle. And today was the day that we got to take a look at Jack Tuttle. I don't know what injury he had that kept him out of the quarterback competition and even out of the spring game. But Jack got his chance today. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Also consider subscribing to the channel if you are not subscribed. So Jack was able to move the ball. The offense looked noticeably different when Jack went in there initially. Jack was throwing the ball. He was managing the offense. The fact that he was a threat to throw the ball down the field and spread it around to the receivers. The Washington defenders couldn't cheat anymore, and they had to respect the fact that he could spread the ball around and throw the ball around. He was showing his mobility. Khalil Mullings and Donovan were running the ball with some success, and it seemed like the offense was rolling. Let's see, Donovan scored on that one touchdown, and then he's entered the chat, and then Jack Tuttle hit Colston Loveland in the end zone on that. It looked like Joe Montana's sprint right option, and he hit Colston Loveland there in the end zone. So that tied the score 14-zip. Because if Sharon Moore hadn't made the coaching change, then that game would have gotten away from us more than it was at that point. But Jack Tuttle got in, he moved the ball, he provided hope, and he was moving the offense in a way that Alex Orji was unable to do to open the game. So that was the first half, and then the second half is when things came off the rails. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch to see. I'm sorry. I'd have to go back and watch to see what adjustments Washington made. But at the end of the day, it's football, and football's pretty simple. You want to run the ball, you want to play defense, and you want to so football's pretty simple. You want to run the ball, you want to play defense, and then you want to protect the ball. Okay, so you cannot turn the ball over in a hostile environment and expect to come away with a victory. So Jack threw that interception. He was looking for Colston Loveland running across the field to the left sideline, and he didn't put it out in front of Colston Loveland, so the Washington defensive back was able to jump the route. So he picked that ball off. That was one turnover, and then Jack fumbled the ball when he was attempting to scramble and get a first down. The Washington defensive lineman came in and punched the ball loose, and those two right there, that was the ball game. That was your ball game, and yeah, you can't win on the road doing that. I was expecting after Ernest Hausman intercepted Will Rogers that we would march down the field and put the game away, but it just wasn't meant to be. So I don't know what we have right now. I don't think anyone thought that we would be in this position where we don't know who our quarterback is, and where we don't know who QB1 is, and we don't know what to expect from week to week. But yeah, right now this doesn't look good in terms of us being one of the top 12 teams for the college football playoff. I'm going to read some comments here. I'm going to read some comments here. I don't intend to be on long. I will take a quick look at the statistics. But I think the two biggest statistics will be those turnovers by Jack Tuttle, because those killed our momentum, those prevented a comeback, and those gave Washington the ball back. That put our defense back out on the field, and our defense did make some plays. They did make some plays, and they got Will Rogers and that offense off the field a couple of times, but those two turnovers really, really killed everything in the second half. Let's see. Dre says, I hope people don't get fooled by Jack's 17 points. He is not it. Yeah, our kicker did what we needed him to do. Tron 7000 says we have a quarterback problem. Yep. Who is the guy at this point? You think it was laid out right there for Jack Tuttle to lead us to victory and to secure the starting spot. But now you kind of have more questions. You kind of have just as many questions as you did going into the game. And, when Alex was playing in that first half, you have more questions. Can you trust Jack Tuttle with the ball? Can you trust Jack Tuttle to not turn the ball over? Alex isn't much of a threat to turn the ball over, but can he move the ball? Davis Warren has a strong arm, but Davis Warren gets happy feet and he turns the ball over. So, until you get Brady, what's the kid's name that signed with us? Brady, was it Brady Hart? Brady Hart. Until you get him in here, what do we have? Okay, I'm going to read some more comments. We have our Benedict is here. Abdul Gaines. He says, you can't run your way to a national title, let alone a Big Ten title. Dre says this is a bad week for top 10 teams. Yeah, Alabama lost too. They lost to Vanderbilt. That I guess we can find some solace in that, but that doesn't help us. Michigan's still going to fall to the high teens or the low 20s in the polls. Abdul Gaines says the Wolverines are grasping at straws when it comes to quarterback. The regular season is not for deciding on a quarterback. That is what spring and fall practices are for. Speaking of which, Abdul Gaines, your team looks pretty sharp. I watched Ohio State play Iowa earlier, and I was thinking Cade McNamara was able to move the ball against that Ohio State defense. He couldn't put it in the end zone, but he was having some success throwing it. And when Jack Tuttle went in there, I was thinking, okay, well, if Cade McNamara can move the ball on that Ohio State defense, then Jack Tuttle looks like he can as well, but not so fast. Not so fast. All right. I'm going to take a quick look at the stats, and then I'll wrap up. If people leave more comments, then I will read your comments. But I think, again, at the end of the day, no matter what you scheme up, no matter what your philosophy is, football is simple. You want to play defense, you want to run the ball, and you want to take some timely shots down the field, but you don't want to turn the ball over. And Michigan committed that sin today. Now, I thought another big missed opportunity was that Donovan Edwards run where he slipped. Okay, Donovan, there was a big gaping hole for him to cut back and run through. I think if Donovan doesn't slip and makes that run, that helps that drive out a lot more, but he slipped. I mean, that doesn't excuse the two Jack Tuttle turnovers, but that Donovan Edwards slip on the turf, that was significant. That was very significant. There were numerous missed tackles. I'm thinking about one Zeke Berry missed tackle. I'm thinking about one did Jair Hill miss one? Giles Jackson, who used to be one of ours, he certainly had a chip on his shoulder for this game, but he was out there juking guys and getting loose, and I think that for this Baltimore Ravens run wall defense, your defensive backs have to tackle in space, and there were quite a few missed tackles tonight. Let me see. Yeah, I didn't take many notes during this game. Dre Ellerby says that Tennessee just lost. Okay, so a lot of teams lost today. That doesn't help us out, but I think it gets to the nature of college football. Let me take a look at the box score. I'm going to pull up the ESPN site. Hopefully, it plays well with my PC and my live stream. The image you are about to see is of the Washington fans storming the field after their victory. Losses suck, especially when you know that if your team had done some things differently, they would have won. But that's athletics. Athletics, it's easy for us to criticize what happens on the field from the sidelines, but actually playing the games is a lot harder. So I will give the coaching staff and the players that. Okay, so this is the score by quarter. Washington scored one touchdown in that first quarter. Michigan scored a touchdown. That was that Donovan Edwards run, and a field goal by Dominique Zavada in the second quarter. Washington scored a touchdown in that second quarter as well. Michigan scored in the third quarter. That was the touchdown pass, the Jack Tuttle touchdown pass to Colston Loveland in the red zone. And then Washington put the game away in that fourth quarter with 13 points. I'm going to skip to the box score for the sake of brevity. Okay, overview. So, oh wow, ESPN hasn't posted the stats yet. They haven't posted the. Because the game just wrapped up. But let's take a look at the team stats. Michigan only had 17 first downs. They were 4 for 12 on third down. They were 1 for 1 on fourth down. Michigan generated a total of 287 yards. Okay, that is not going to cut it against any of your quality Division I Power 5 opponents. It might cut it against Fresno State or Arkansas State, but not against Washington at home in Seattle. Let's see. Michigan generated 113 total passing yards compared to Washington's 315. Okay. And Michigan generated 174 rushing yards in comparison to Washington's 114. Okay. So let's see. Michigan had 5 penalties for 40 yards. And then there were the 2 turnovers, okay, which were huge. There was both of those were by Jack Tuttle. One was a fumble, a lost fumble, and then the other one was that interception thrown when he was looking at Colston Loveland. The time of possession was about the same. Again, this came down to the turnovers. ESPN has not posted their statistics yet, so I'm going to go over to Google to see if they have the player statistics right now. Let's see. Where's Washington? You guys let me know what you think there in the chat. I'm going to hang out for a little bit longer. Yeah, so I'm going to pull this up so we can all look at it together. Yeah, so Jack Tuttle. Yeah, it was he was good early, but it ended up being an overall pedestrian performance. He was 10 for 18 for 98 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, plus the fumble. Donovan carried the ball for 14 times for 95 yards and 1 touchdown. And Colston Loveland caught 3 balls for 33 yards and 1 touchdown. I thought when Jack went in there, some of our wide receivers were going to get more touches, and he did spread the ball around a little bit. Amarian Walker caught that big ball over the middle. Samaj Morgan, I think he caught a drag route. And it looked like the ball was going to get out vertically pretty often, but Washington, I'd have to go back and look and see what they did to bottle up Jack, because I don't remember him getting a lot of hurries and a lot of pressure in the game. So maybe they adjusted their coverage to confuse him in that second half. Let me see what else is here. Yeah, that Will Rogers kid from Washington, he went 21 for 31 for 271 yards and 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Now, they did bring in their second string quarterback to give our defense a different look. He was more mobile, and I thought they were bringing him in to run more of a wildcat type of thing, but he threw the ball as well. Jonah Coleman, their running back, Michigan had him bottled up until the end. He carried the ball 18 times for 80 yards and that 1 touchdown, I think, which came at the end. And then the Denzel Boston kid, he caught 5 balls for 80 yards and 1 touchdown. And that time he scored, I think Jair Hill was on him, and that's when Jair Hill fell down. Jair Hill fell down as well. There were quite a few players who fell down in this game and lost their footing. Let's see, more player stats. Yeah, Khalil Mullings didn't have a big game. He carried the ball 14 times for 49 yards. And in this game, it's interesting. It seemed like Donovan was more so the featured back in this game. I don't understand that. But maybe Kirk Campbell and Sharon saw something that we did not see from viewer land. Let's see. Yeah, and you can see right here, in terms of receiving, there wasn't much after Colston Loveland. Donovan caught 2 balls. Amarian Walker caught that 1. Samaj Morgan caught 1. Tyler Morris caught 1. Marlon Klein caught 1, and Max Bredesen caught 1. Defensively, Josiah Stewart sacked Will Rogers once. Jair Hill sacked him once. It looks like Ernest Hausman had that interception. And from my vantage point, there were quite a few missed tackles in space, which could have stopped some of those Washington drives. I'm not going to go over the rest of this. That's pretty much all I got. It's that's a stadium that tends to not be friendly towards our team, and when you go on the road, you definitely need stability at that quarterback position, and you have to protect the ball. Above all else, you have to protect the ball. So Michigan has a bye next week, and then after that, Big Ten play resumes. But I think they're going to have to, at the quarterback position, what do you do? Do you stick with Jack? Jack showed some good things. Do you go back to Alex? Alex offensively at this time is limited, and Davis Warren turns the ball over. He's got happy feet. So I think right now we just saw Jack for the first time. So I think the coaching staff is probably going to have to stick with Jack for a while. But again, this is not what you want 6 games into the season. So, all right, everyone, that's all I've got. Please smash that like button if you haven't. If you're watching this on the playback, please smash that like button, and also consider subscribing to the channel if you are not. Guys, this is athletics. It's a bit of a rebuild. A ton of guys were lost last year to the draft. We had a lot of turnover in terms of the coaching staff, and we do not have stability at the quarterback position right now. So this is what we have. So Dre Ellerby says, I would understand if Mason, Will, and Kenneth Grant would set seatbout. Dre, I've never seen that word before. Seatbout. You mean sit out the rest of the season? I mean, certainly those guys are going to go pro, and they don't want to blow out a knee or blow a hamstring or something for a season that's not gonna bear any kind of fruit, and for a season that won't even allow a playoff berth. Yeah, so that's I don't want to see them sit out, but their bodies are investments, and if we're not going to at least make the playoff, then I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. All right, everyone, it is 11:36 here on the East Coast. Those players have a long plane ride back to Ann Arbor. I suspect it's going to be a quiet plane ride, but I'm going to wrap up and get ready to turn in myself and watch some other post-game coverage. Hopefully I can catch Johnny Olden's live stream tomorrow night. I think he goes on in the evening on Sundays, so I'll be looking out for it tomorrow. I'm going to make sure I'm not doing anything for that, so I can jump up and give my 2 cents. But turnovers, those killed us today, and you can't win on the road turning the ball over multiple times. You can't even you'll be lucky to win on the road turning the ball over once. So, all right, everyone, go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. There are quite a few games left. Seasons, there are still quite a few games left, but stability at the quarterback position would definitely help the rest of the way. All right, everyone, good night, and I will talk to you later. Go blue.